So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZW Games 5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below.
What's up YouTube, this is Yugioh from OTK Games, and it's finally time. The time has finally come that I get to officially profile the official version of Sacred Beasts. This is the most competitive version that I feel like I'm going to be trying out and going to be playing, and that I think you can take to your locals and do relatively well with it as far as Sacred Beasts can go. This is a very consistent deck for what it wants to do, for what it can do, and there's tons of different variants that you can play, and I'll briefly go over the other types of variants that you can do, that you can perform in this deck, and other strategies that you can do. So before I get to all of that, if you enjoy this, please give us a like, please give us a subscribe down below. We're enjoying so much content here on the channel, so many different types of content here on both the channel and the podcast as well, that we all think you're going to enjoy. And if you do enjoy, those likes and subscribes really are helpful and are greatly appreciated. So before that's said and done, let's get into the official Sacred Beasts. So this type of variant is a all variant. This is an all beast variant, that I'm going to call it that, which basically utilizes all the Sacred Beasts as much as I can and as consistently as I can. I feel like this is the most fun variant to play in terms of like full as competitive as can, though if you really wanted to, as I said, you can minimize ratios and so on and so forth, and I'll explain to it. Firstly, I think what separates all different types of Sacred Beasts is the number of Sacred Beasts that you are actually playing. So I am playing 2 Raviel, 2 Haman, and just 1 Uriah. This is the ratio that I'm currently playing. This is the ratio that I feel like does very well. Raviel and Haman are the most powerful, as the sense that they are 4k stats, and the Haman has some like the best support in the deck. Raviel you play at multiples just because we do have the obviously one Shimmering Scaper, but I still play the 1 Uriah because again I want to utilize all the Sacred Beasts. I think 1 Uriah, unless your deck is solely focused on Uriah, you only play the 1 copy to have that name in your official name in your deck. The other variants that you can do is that you can either focus on Raviel, that's your other variant, where you utilizing the Shimmering Scaper to just OTK your opponent by just attacking everything with an 8k Raviel, protected with your field spell. And then your other build is Haman as well, which is basically the lockdown variant. The only other variant that you can possibly play in terms of like Sacred Beast focus is the Armor Tower build, where you just make Armor Tower and you just OTK that with a 10k Armor Tower. That's the only, those are the main focus points in terms of like the Sacred Beasts themselves, and ratios on that all depends on yourself. The only other boss monster that I'm playing in the deck is 1 copy of Darkest Diablos, because all your fiends tribute themselves to activate their effects. So it can trigger Darkest Diablos, get a free 3k beat stick on the field. That can help minimize your opponent's hand size, so that way you can just gain control of the game that way and help you gain control of the game in that sense. The reason I lay them out like that is because I have, well, I love them, is my 3 secret rare Sacred Beasts, like the limited editions. I believe these are all like the tin variants. I just love them so much. A little bit battered, but I'm just glad that I managed to complete the set. So I'm going to put those to aside. And then we have like, probably like, this is like one of the best cards in the deck, and that is Dark Beckoning Beast, rivaling his greatness in the deck with the continuous spell. But Dark Beckoning Beast does so much for you, such as out essentially all the cards in your deck on normal summon. It is unfortunate it is just normal summon, though if it was special summon as well it would be a bit broken, even for Sacred Beasts, because on how good and versatile these cards are. They can be utilized in so many decks as engines. Is great. I will explain to you a OTK at the end. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain to you the OTK of Armtile, but you have seen on the channel already that you can make things like the Curious Light Sword with just 1.5 combo in this deck. It's just absolutely insane. Yeah, 3 copies of Dark Beckoning Beast, such as everything in your deck. Chaos Summoning Beast, such as your field spell from graveyard by banishing, as well as just essentially tributing itself to get any Sacred Beast from your hand onto the field. Great card, you search it out with your Dark Beckoning. This is one you want to see more than this one, which is Dark Summoning. You only play 2 of it. Just because this can summon from your deck, but it locks you out from attacking that turn, locks you out the battle phase. This Chaos Summoning doesn't, which is why I've gone for that kind of ratio. Plus, he's a level 5, so he's a bit harder to get onto the field. At least with Chaos Summoning, you can, at least worst case scenario, is normal summon him, make Link Reaver, at least you got something on the field. To round up the Sacred Beast engine lineup, I'm playing the 1 Chaos Core. This is to help me go into my Armor Tile play, and it's part of the 2-card OTK, which I'll show you at the end, that involves Armor Tile. This is the sub-engine that I'm playing to complement this card, which is the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, but I'm playing a small, tiny Nemesis engine. This is literally the only Nemesis card I am playing. I'm not playing the Thunder one, because unfortunately for us here in the TCG, we don't have the Colossus, Thunder Dragon Colossus, which if you did have Thunder Dragon Colossus available, you swap out Umbrella for the Thunder one, because then you can just go flag, get the Thunder one summon itself, and then you can make a Colossus on your end board as well, comboed with 2 Sacred Beasts. The reason I've gone for these 2 is because Nemesis flag, Umbrella can just like get me the banished card back to my hand, which if it's like a Dark Beckoning or Chaos Summoning, those do work very nicely. But your main thing is to get the flag on the field, because you can turn your flag and your Almirage into your Union Carrier, and you can crit VL with a Dragon Destruction Sword, so he's at 5,000 attack and locking your opponent out the extra deck, which is just absolutely insane. Again, combo that with the field spell, he's pretty much indestructible, which is just absurd. But that's it for the monsters. You don't have to play this engine, but I think for Sacred Beasts, this is like one of the best competitive engines that you can add to the deck. If you didn't want to add this, you can go with like the Synchron, the Jet Synchron engine. That's another thing you can do. You can get your 2 Omni Negates with the Sacred Beast as well. That's another thing you can throw in there. This little lineup here, these 4 cards, we could also add Arcus Diablos in there as well, make 5 cards. You've got over 5 card flex spots in the deck, which is just really good for the deck. Which doesn't hurt the deck at all, which is very, very nice. But I could just gone with this just because, again, I think Union Carrier to Buster the Sword is just too good to not play in the deck. Especially since we can play it and it doesn't affect the deck's consistency whatsoever. We are playing the 3 copies of Opening of the Spirit Gates. Just absolutely amazing card. Just searches you everything in your deck, gets your combos going by being able to just ditch a card and revive a card. It's just really strong card. I really do enjoy this. Like, it's great. And being continuous spell as well, if you really had to, you can just use it to summon Haman naturally. Along with this, the Cerulean Skyfire. I was playing this as a 1-of, but I'm just bumped up to 2. I think it's great. This is a really strong card. This is one of the reasons why the Haman build is just so good. Combo this with just the Haman and the Fallen Paradise. You got a 4K monster who's pretty much indestructible via the field spell, and that can essentially negate spells and traps by just changing its battle mode. And then in defense mode, just generates more protection because it just redirects all attacks to him. Something that Donald pointed out, in the 2-card combo, you can actually just summon out 2 Hamans and then essentially have the Marauding Captain lock with just 2 Hamans in defense. But you could go with like 1 Haman in attack, it was Cerulean Skyfire, the other one in defense, so that when the other one goes to defense, your opponent just cannot attack you because both Hamans will redirect attacks. It's just bonkers. I completely fine. I've never done this when playtesting. It's just absolutely absurd. The 1 Fallen Paradise, you may think this is absolutely like bizarre. Like, Joe, this is like the most powerful card in the deck because it just makes all your Sacred Beasts OP. It's like, yes, but we have 9 cards that can get to this. You've got your Dark Beckoning and 7 gates. I'm so used to calling it 7 gates, but opening of the spirit gates. You've got your dark beckoning, your spirit gates, and the chaos summoning can all get to this. I don't want to brick on this. I think 2 is the most number I'd go. I wouldn't play 3, and I wouldn't play terraforming. There's just no need. You have so many ways to get to Fallen Paradise. I may bump it up to 2 later down the line, but I'm really enjoying the 1 copy. Just because once you get to it, you've essentially got it. Your opponent has to waste something to get over this, to then just get over your Sacred Beasts. So I'm only playing the 1 of. 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. It's a bit of a shame this didn't come in the structure deck. It would have been absolutely great if it did. But 3 copies of Allure. Everything in your deck is dark, essentially, except for the Nemesis engine, which is great. 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Your whole combo is susceptible to Ash Blossom, so you don't want to be ashed. So you're playing the Call by Grave to stop not only Ash, but there's other hand traps as well. Foolish Bro is that flex spot, another little flex spot I'm playing. It's mostly in here for either your Darkest Diablos or your Skimmering Shaper, because Skimmering Shaper can add itself back to hand. I may take it out for the second Fallen Paradise, or I may bump up another card to 3, which I'm getting to get to in a bit. But yeah, Foolish Bro is doing well for now. And the 1 copy of Dimension Fusion Destruction, it's just as an easy way to get to my big boss fusion monsters. I'm only playing as a 1 of. Obviously, if you're going for the armor tile build, you will play multiple copies of this. But you can get it to very easily with things like Verte Anaconda, which is also very good. The card I'll bump up to 3 if I didn't play Foolish Barrel is 2 copies of the Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. It's just a crazy trap card. Like, just absolutely bonkers. Depending on the number of Sacred Beasts on field, it has additional effects. If you have 1 Sacred Beast on field, they all have to be different names. If you have 1 Sacred Beast on the field, every time your opponent essentially summons a monster, you gain life points equal to that attack, so it prevents you from being OTK'd. If you have 2 Sacred Beasts on field, it's essentially a one-sided skill drain for your opponent. If you have 3 Sacred Beasts on field, it's a one-sided Dark Law. Like, it's essentially a Dark Law. Absolutely absurd trap card. Searchable via Dark Beckoning, and I believe 7 your Spirit Gates as well. And the Spirit Gates just searches monsters. No, yeah, just adds monsters. Searchable via Dark Beckoning, and in a way searchable by the Opening Gates, is because Opening Gates search Dark Beckoning. So really good trap card. I may bump it up to 3. If I did, I'll take out Foolish Burial or one of these other trap cards. Hyperblaze I would never take out, just because it essentially makes Uriah viable. Because Uriah needs continuous traps in graveyard to gain attack points, but with Hyperblaze it essentially means that any trap card you're essentially playing, normal, continuous, counter, whatever, can essentially give Uriah attack points. So if you need to do an Uriah game, you got Hyperblaze for that. But it can also get back your Sacred Beast, which is very nice. 2 copies of Crackdown. I was playing 3 of it. I had to take some copies out to fit in other things like Darkest Diablos and things like that. But double Crackdown I think is a really good versatile continuous trap to give your Uriah attack points as well, while also stunning your opponent by taking their stuff away. And one thing I'm still taking in is the Escape from the Dark Dimension. It combos very well for your Dark Summoning Beast and things like that. But I may take this card out as well for either the 3rd Crackdown or the 3rd Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. It's just again another little flex spot like with Foolish Burial. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. 2 copies of Armor Chaos Phantasm and 1 copy of Phantasm Emperor Trilogy. Just to let you guys know, as far as my testing goes and as far as I've seen being done and being played and everything like that, you can summon this off your Dimension Fusion Destruction. You don't have to be listed by names, but because he lists level 10 specific monsters and it's a Phantasm monster, you can summon it through Dimension Fusion Destruction, because he does list level 10s as fusion material. The reason I'm playing 2 Armor, you may think this is a bit too much, but in testing, as well, even though it's fun testing, even though in testing I have actually had the ability to summon 2 copies of Armor Chaos Phantasm. You can drop it down to 1 if you want to. The extra deck is just so flexible. It's just great. Like, you don't really need your extra deck. Like, in the sense that you could essentially play Pot of Extravagance. I don't have Extravagances, so I'm not playing that, but if you do have those at your disposal, you could play Extravagance and then just go like whatever in your extra deck, but I'm just doing this for the moment. So 2 Armor Tile, 1 Emperor Trilogy, 1 Predapant Dragostopedia, and 1 copy of Mud Dragon and Swamp. I'm thinking of putting another fusion target in here as well, maybe something like the Earth Golem at Ignista for the side-base targets. Obviously in my side deck I'll be playing things like Super Poly, which is why I got these 2 targets in here. I got 1 rank 10 Super Dreadnought Gustav Max. If you need to, you got Gustav Max as an option. The rest of my deck is just like versatile link monsters. So Bolo Dragon, Nightmare Unicorns, Phoenix and Cerberus. If you had it, you can play the BLS link. I don't have the BLS link. And if you wanted to as well, you could play things like Access Code Talker and other stuff like that. Your main link monsters that you do definitely need is the Vertex Anaconda to give you easy access to an Armor Tile finish. Union Carrier if you're playing the Union Carrier engine. Double Almirage, you need double Almirage. Just because Almirage is the one you're going to be going to the most and it's part of your combos. And then the 1 Link Rebo, because you can make Link Rebo with your little Chaos monsters as well. But that, guys, is the deck, and I love these tokens. I think the tokens are great. I even got the Sky Blaster token. But I just do love these tokens. I think they're great little tokens. But that, guys, is the deck. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll quickly run through you guys the OTK, 2-card OTK that involves Armor Tile. All you need is any combination of these cards. Once I get to the 7 gates, yeah, there we go. Any combination of these cards, whether you have one of these 2 in hand or one of these 2 in hand, it literally does not matter because you're going to be searching the other one. So I'm going to go with Dark Beckoning and Chaos Core. So you normal summon your Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning is going to grab you your Dimension Fusion Destruction. If you had the 7 gates, you'd play 7 gates to then add Dark Beckoning, normal Dark Beckoning to add the Dimension Fusion Destruction. So it literally does not matter. You then use Dark Beckoning to normal summon your Chaos Core in addition to a normal summon set because he is a 0/0 monster. You would then use Dark Beckoning to make your Almirage. You would then use Almirage's effect to tribute itself to target Chaos Core himself, and then which then triggers Chaos Core to send all 3 Sacred Beasts from your deck to the graveyard. Now, since you have all 3 Sacred Beasts in your graveyard, you can then play the Dimension Fusion Destruction, banish all 3 of the Sacred Beasts, and summon out your Armor Tile, the Chaos Phantasm. You can then, if you wanted to, use Chaos Core to link that off into a second Almirage, which then can, if you need to, give Armor Tile the additional protection for that turn. But then you essentially, now you've got a 10k on your turn Armor Tile, which then you can swing in for damage. Essentially, Utopia double your opponent. If you had, obviously, if you had it in as an option, you got your copy of your Fallen Paradise and things like that, which then can give Armor Tile additional protection on top of him just being big and having Armirage as well. So that, guys, is not only a deck but a smaller OTK Armor Tile combo, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed waiting for this deck for so long, and I can't wait to be playtesting this with actual cards and not proxies. It's just so good. So as always, guys, like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.